Hello and welcome back to another morning shower aha moment. My name is Suzanne and I am your intuition coach. So most recently, I have been getting intuitive nudges to talk about anxiety and how intuition plays a role in calming and managing our anxieties. And I was hesitant at first to talk about anxiety because I didn't think I could contribute any real value to the anxiety conversation. But the more I sat with this, I realized I have a lot to add. And so today, I'm going to do my best to share some insights. So, I don't experience anxiety through panic attacks or feeling anxious in social settings, or my body doesn't go into anxious paralysis when I don't know what to do. I have realized I am one of those weirdos that actually overcompensates my anxiety by getting busy and taking action when I feel uncomfortable as a way to forget that I have no idea what the heck I'm doing, right? Or I avoid feeling anxious and inadequate by completely disconnecting from myself. I seek out ways to, help someone else as to distract myself from really whatever I'm distracting myself from. Get it? I use busyness as a way to cope through anticipatory or anxiety-inducing situations. And I've done this since I was a little kid. When things felt really unstable or out of control, I disconnected from myself and stepped into a field outside myself to forget that I was feeling completely out of control. Now, on the surface, this may seem like a pretty slick trick and a somewhat productive and resourceful coping mechanism. But if you put me beside a person who is having a full-blown textbook anxiety attack, my energy and the other person's energy looks exactly the same. My way just hides anxiety better. We are both disconnected or disassociating with what is really going on, and we are not fully responding to our situation with a truly open, intuitive heart and mind, and fully connecting and grounding into our current situation. We are living in an accelerated time, right? Where anything can happen. And for some, that is really exciting. But for a lot of people, that can be terrifying and can create a lot of anxiety. So when transitions like traditions and structures are coming into question and the underbelly of those structures are getting exposed, it is causing a collective anxiety disorder. It's like we are all trying to make sense and bring order to chaos. And if we are honest, most of us can identify ourselves on this anxiety coping spectrum. Some have full-on panic attacks, some numb out, some are control freaks, some stay in a constant drug-induced state, some get into action and do something, anything really, even if the action keeps us in the status quo. Some create drama or get sucked up into drama. Pick your coping flavor, right? When we feel anxious, our energy gets scattered and we don't feel like we have control. When we feel out of control, we forget and cut ourselves off from our internal power, our inner wisdom, our intuition. When we feel out of control, it is critical that we pause and breathe to regain perspective. More than ever, this is when awareness is key. Everyone is coping with anxiety in their own unique way, either by being completely unconscious or through old patterns and behaviors that managed the unknown in the past to help swallow the nasty pill of uncertainty. And the thing about now is that those old patterns and behaviors and habits may have benefited us in the past, but they don't work anymore and are causing more problems. And the positive note is that there are empowered ways to bridge the gap between the known and the unknown. The challenge is that our wounded ego needs to get so tired and worked over that we are left with no choice but to surrender to our intuition. That's why our old ways are coming into question, and we are in a great position of real change and transformation. So today I asked my higher self, what is going on at the deeper level of collective anxiety? And I got one big loaded word in response to my question: loss. When we feel anxious, our energy gets caught up in a whirlwind. Every thought and emotion gets filtered through perception of loss. Most people are dealing with loss big time right now, whether that be loss of traditions, loss of structure, loss of stability, loss of identity. It's like our egos are getting the biggest shakeup of our lives, and the tiny little boxes that created our illusions of safety and security are getting toppled and reorganized into shapes we have never seen before. And this makes a lot of people anxious. It's like a whole new playing field of new beginnings and new possibilities. And this is good news because the cleaning and purging cycle is good for our spirits. We get better and stronger when illusions and delusions are exposed. So just to recap, when we feel anxious, our energy gets distorted and we don't feel like we have control. Our energy gets caught up in a whirlwind of anxiety. I mean, every thought and emotion gets filtered through perceptions of loss. We will fill in the gap of uncertainty with what ifs and create a, terrible story, creating more anxiety. And we can become aware and identify what our coping mechanisms are when we get swept up in the tidal wave of anxiety. When we feel out of control, we forget our power. And the good news is, underneath this loss is a gift, because we are losing our false power. We were extracting false power from the illusions of these old systems and ways of doing things. Now, we get to use our true power and create new systems and traditions that are more in alignment with our integrated hearts and minds. So these shakeups aren't pretty, right? But as our wounded egos are getting worked over and finally having to step aside, our intuition and true wisdom gets a new seat at the table. Again, the loss that we are experiencing was misguided false power and false certainty from those systems that weren't ours to begin with. So once we get through the shock of perceived loss, we will emerge even stronger. So recruiting your intuition is crucial right now. Question everything with a curious and open heart and mind, and be mindful of how you deal with the unknown. I mean, awareness is key. So there you have it. If you found this message to be valuable and you want more of these aha moments, like the video and subscribe and share the love by passing this message along. And when you are ready to get clear insight on one of your big decisions, let's work together. So to schedule your private coaching session, email me at suzanne@revivewithenergy.com. And until next time, I will see you later. Bye-bye.